What's dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things as they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. And you can never force nobody else to wear them.
I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts, but they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubt that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts, so I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. We're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back up. Yes, I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Good evening. Hope everyone is doing well. I just got through with a hell of a big coughing fit. Fun times. Um, ah, some days it's a little rougher than others, the breathing. Oh, goodness. What's the other? Yeah, I had a nasty case of wind herpes today, and I spent much of the day dealing with my wind herpes. I I had to get an intra USB venous. I put malware bites on, and I think I got it all squared away. But holy hell! There is over 750,000 files just on my C drive alone. And that barely covers any of it. My C drive is actually my least big drive. It's the smallest of all the drives. So, yeah. Anyway, so that took several hours today. To sit there and churn through it. So hey, it happens. I installed something that wasn't up to par, and it gave me wind herpes, and that's okay. Malwarebytes to save the day, among other things. Malwarebytes and Revo Uninstaller Pro, because the target application that I was installing, if you would try to install it, it would get all the way to the end of the process and then reverse and put everything back to the way it was, and you could not uninstall that sumbitch. Safe mode, you couldn't do it because they had you blocked out of it. They had my Windows, everything related to my Windows security shut down and disabled. So I was able to manage to get into safe mode, install Malwarebytes, and get the bulk of it. Then I got that Revo Uninstaller Pro, in which I uninstalled because it'll let you force uninstall a program. So I then uninstalled the target program, the initial program, which it did successfully remove it, and a billion frickin' registry entries that it made and all that kind of stuff. So finally, I'm up and running, and I haven't had anything else pop up. So that's good news. I am open Malwarebytes. I'm gonna go look right now and see if it's one of the things it was doing was kept trying to pull up a website. Anywho, I do not see any notifications. Nada. So that is a good thing. I may not have to actually redo Windows. I figured that's what I was going to be busy doing tomorrow. But if it doesn't pop up with anything, within a couple of days, I'll uninstall Malwarebytes because I don't put that shit on my computer and let it run. Why would you slow down your computer that much? Okay, I got infected because I was a retard. So, I mean, it's not like it was a drive-by herpes infection of the PC. I did it. Plain and simple. So, which is what happens 99% of the time. It's just most people won't admit it. But it happens to all of us. So, if you do much at all with computers, eventually you're going to get burned. So, anywho, I got that all squared away. I got all my Windows Defender stuff and all that back. It's back enabled and active. It's running now along with Malwarebytes, which I don't recommend. Choose one or the other, but I won't be keeping Malwarebytes. So, but Watchman, it's way better than Windows. Yeah. Again, I don't get herpes if I don't put it where it doesn't belong. Right? Right. So, people gonna click in just a little bit late to the show and go, what the hell happened to him? You might want to rewind. Anywho, let's see, anything else? I spent a fair amount of time in the flight sim. Did a bunch of carrier stuff, if you couldn't tell. I was really enjoying doing the carrier stuff. I missed that. I could have done it for a long time. There's been active carriers ever since before the Top Gun movie came out, because we got a whole Top Gun expansion thing. So I could have been doing it for a long time and just haven't. They have had it really messed up to where they even tell you to turn off crash detection. And I don't like doing that. And in those videos that I shot, crash detection is on. The only time that I can't turn crash detection on is if I'm spawning on the carrier itself. If I'm spawning on the carrier itself, then it will do all kinds of crazy stuff to you and put you on the deck upside down, or you'll come flying out of, or falling out of the sky 50 feet onto the deck. I mean, it's just stupid. So that's why they say turn it off. But as long as you spawn in somewhere that's not a carrier, or I don't know if it's just the moving ones that do that. No, you can't spawn on the moving ones. So yeah, I don't know. But anyway, had a lot of fun doing that. Pretty much anything you could think of landing on there, I was landing on there. Anything else exciting? No, not really. Just been watching the craziness unfold on the news. Well, not on the news, but in the news. I didn't figure we'd have a really super long night tonight, because after dealing with the wind herpes and that coughing fit, I'm ready for bed. Not only that, I didn't sleep very well last night, and I am whooped. So I'm going to run through these and get the heck out of here. Let's see. Y'all might want to go along for the ride. I've got like 4 tabs open, and then of course the headlines from Friday. U.S. planning military base in disputed territory, says Venezuela. So that's not anything new. Washington is looking to set up a military base in the Guayana Esquiba area, which is contested by Venezuela and Guyana. The former's foreign ministry has claimed. Okay, we'll try to straighten up and pronounce right. In a speech to the UN General Assembly on Saturday, Yvonne Gill said the U.S. considers itself the sovereign of Latin America and is now intervening in the more than 200-year-old territorial dispute between Caracas and Georgetown. Georgetown like the college, or... No, okay. Let's see. The U.S. government seeks to appropriate our oil resources by using the company ExxonMobil. I mean, I was going to ask you, because if it was like, you know, Georgetown, the like college, yeah, those woke folks ain't got a chance. Anyway, says it's incorporated the government of Guyana into its ranks, he said. Pardon me. Guyana Esquiba is rich in oil. It's Esquiba. Esquiba is rich in oil and gas, especially in offshore areas. In recent years, exploration in the disputed territory has been dominated by an Exxon-led consortium, which has received a drilling license from Georgetown last week Guyana held another offshore oil bidding round, receiving applications from ExxonMobil, Total Energies, and other firms. Guyana is acting in total violation of international law by granting those oil permits, the Venezuelan diplomat said. Unilateral disposal of a disputed territory isn't permissible, but the government of Guyana persists in its illegal conduct, he insisted. According to Gill, Washington intends to militarize the situation in Guyana Esquiva. The U.S. is S. It's got to be Esquiva. Esquiva. The U.S. Southern Command seeks to establish a military base in the contested territory with the aim of creating a spearhead in its aggression against Venezuela and consolidating the plunder of our energy resources, he claimed. Gill announced that earlier this week, Venezuela's National Assembly had unanimously decided to call our people to vote in a consultative referendum to ratify the defense of our sovereign territory against the aggression of the American empire, which wants to lead us to a war for natural resources. He did not say when exactly the vote would be held or reveal any other details. So, keep an eye on that situation, because, hey, if they can spawn more wars, they will. They like to do that. United States, the farmers of conflict. It used to be the framers of the Constitution. Now it's the farmers of conflict. Get a pretty good damn harvest every year, do they not? Every day. Yay, I got stuff charged. My pod for vaping at night when I go to bed. And then the other's my little plasma arc lighter thingy. It's still kicking. Works pretty well. No complaints. I knew what I was getting. It's a piece of shit. It's a piece of crap. I knew what I was getting, though. They're all pieces of crap. Don't buy an electric / arc / plasma lighter for SHTF, man. You do that, you're not very smart. And if you've done it because you don't know better, take it out of your kit. Replace it with something with a wick and lighter fuel. I would stay away from the ultra cheapy wick lighter thingies that you see on Amazon. You know, they've got the what do they call it? The everlasting match or something like that, or whatever, where it's like a little match thing. Stay away from those. Get something with a flint wheel and flint. You'll be good to go. Some of them are a bit expensive. I don't know if there's any cheap ones or not. Sealable. A bull. Hang on, if I can type. Wick light here. See what pops up. Pardon me. Okay, so these are the match things I was telling you to stay away from. Okay? Don't. You can if you just want something cute, but for SHTF, no sir. No ma'am. What you want is one of these. So apparently the design was stolen, and I'm going to be real honest. But here you go, $11, right? The PP Fish Mini Brass Lighter, the PP Fish. Just search for pee-pee fish. You'll be good with pee-pee fish. Always trust pee-pee fish. Let's see. I'm looking to see if there's any options aside from pee-pee fish. They got a mini brass lighter. Is this one mini? What is this? Yeah, it says mini. I wonder if they got any maxi. Ooh. Let's see. Looking for something maxi. Oh, man. Let's see. Those are all accessories. Nope. Nope. More pill container stuff. Not seeing lighters. Nah. Most of them are going to be containers. They might even have a... Well, I don't know how else you would find that. Hang on. Wrapper hemp wick lighter. Well, then, I mean, if you want to go for it, but I wouldn't do it for SHTF. A lot of cute stuff out there. Cute doesn't save your life. I'm just trying to find you guys a decent option. I wasn't real happy with what I saw. Nah. I'll have to dig and look. I know that there's going to be a million generics out there. So, I will dig. I will find y'all a lighter similar to mine without having to pay that kind of price. Because it is... I'll be the first to say that's a really, really stupid price to have to pay for something like that. I'm one of those people that I understand how much it costs to produce an item. I'm not stupid, not foolish. I've been involved in product development and whatnot. I know a thing or two. And this doesn't, that thing doesn't really take a whole lot. It just really, truly doesn't. Definitely not $60 or so worth of a whole lot. It's not. But, if we're talking SHTF, that is an item that's worth the cost. And the reason why is because you're not gonna get a better lighter than a Zippo style lighter, fluid style wick lighter for a long-term SHTF deal. And to have one that seals so that you don't have the fuel evaporate, that's a game winner right there. And so that's that right there, to me, my opinion, the number one reason to have one. And Exotac makes a version, but they're $60. You can go to CountyCom website. I think they're $50-$60 for what they have available now. If you can find something, just make sure like it's got O-rings and that it seals and that, because that's the whole point. That is the entire point. But I'm not seeing anything. Like I say, stay away from the little bitty match thingies. Again, they look cute, but cute won't save your life. So, anyway. Let's see. But yeah, most definitely do not use an electric arc plasma lighter or whatever for the end of days. Unless you're using it to light your barbecue grill or candle or something like that. But don't put it in your bug out bag. Let's see. Russian forces take out more Western hardware, says Moscow. Over the past 24 hours, Russian forces have struck several Western-supplied artillery systems during battles with Ukraine, the Defense Ministry in Moscow has reported. A U.S.-made Paladin, might be Paladin, I think, self-propelled howitzer was eliminated by counter-battery fire in Zaporozhye region, the ministry announced in a statement on Sunday. 2 American-supplied M777 howitzers were also destroyed, one in Donetsk People's Republic and another in Kherson region, it added. According to the ministry, a Polish Krab self-propelled howitzer was blown up by the Russian military near the city of Kupiansk in Ukraine's Kharkov region. Around a dozen Soviet-era artillery systems has also been neutralized along the front line, it revealed. In the area near the village of Kleshchivka, not far from the city of Artyomovsk, known as Bakhmut in Ukraine, a Ukrainian Mi-8 helicopter was shot down, the ministry continued. Air defenses have also intercepted 3 HARM anti-radar missiles and 8 projectiles fired by HIMARS multiple rocket launchers. In the DPR, 4 Ukrainian attempts to advance were thwarted. In the area near the village of Veselyo, Russian forces also went on a counterattack and improved their tactical position, it said. Hey, what's up, Ryan? Absolutely. And if you can't afford anything major, cotton balls and Vaseline work wonders. I've got multiple things in my bug out bag, but that is absolutely one of the things that I have in my bug out bag is Vaseline, cotton balls. I got fat wood. I've got one thing I don't have to worry about is being able to light a fire. And it's not even in my big bag. I've got this, showed you guys before. This bag actually latches onto my bigger bag. But I like this bag to be separate. Because I've got things in there like hygiene, some medical stuff, water filtration, that might be important. And the first thing I grabbed off was fire. Lockpick set. I mean, anything you need, right? Anything you need. Right here, I've got some of that Vaseline and cotton balls I was telling you about. Fat wood. Don't got skinny wood. Char cloth. I've got all this stuff. Pocket bell. I poked myself. Pocket bellow. I got flint and striker. I mean, not a flint and striker. I did get myself. Yeah, flint and striker. Not flint, ferro rod and striker. More fire stuff in here. That's the one thing. If I got this bag, I've got 5,000 ways to light a fire. Some things I redundant the hell out of. Fire is one of them. Because I just don't think about what I need. I also try to think about what I might lose. So, because that happens. I think I got myself good. Yeah, bags real easy just to grab off the pack if you just need to get some water or need to light a fire or something like that. You don't have to get into the big part of the bag. Makes it a little more organized and easier to access. Alright, continuing on. U.S. government stopped me from interviewing Putin, says Tucker Carlson. I thought this was kind of interesting. Says former Fox News host Tucker Carlson has alleged in a recent interview that unnamed figures in Washington obstructed his attempts to interview Russian President Vladimir Putin. I tried to interview Vladimir Putin, and the U.S. government stopped me, Carlson claimed in an interview with Swiss publication Die Wawush, published on Thursday. He also explained that he felt let down by the lack of support for his situation and that he says he received from U.S. news media. He said, I don't think there was anybody who said, wait a second, I may not like this guy, but he has a right to interview anyone he wants, and we have a right to hear what Putin says. The 54-year-old added, you're not allowed to hear Putin's voice because why? There's no vote on it. No one asked me. The often controversial media personality didn't elaborate on the circumstances under which he says there was government intrusion into his plans to interview Putin, but it appeared to suggest that it was the current Biden administration which was behind the meddling. Carlson also didn't mention when the interview with the Russian leader was supposed to take place. I'm an American citizen, Carlson told Dial Walsh. I'm more loyal American than, say, Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, who didn't even grow up in this country. She grew up in Canada, and they're telling me what is to be a loyal American. Carlson, previously Fox News' biggest star, parted ways with well, this just goes into the history of it, which you already know. So, but yeah. Folks, it's not going to be much longer for folks like myself and anybody else. And, you know, I'll tell you this. What you're really going to watch for, hang on. What you're going to really want to watch for is don't look for the big, the big names that you're used to seeing and hearing. Don't look for them to disappear, especially not right away. Nah, they'll chip away at the smaller people. They'll chip away at people like me, smaller people, and they'll whittle us down. And then they'll start to pull away some of the bigger names. Now, some of the bigger names, they're not batting on your side. I'm telling you, they're not. And they're going to let those go through. Why? It's really hard to get people to understand. They talk, especially when you're talking about social media content creators, not just YouTube, but elsewhere. They always talk about wanting to really hit those algorithms. And, yeah, I mean, on the surface, yeah, that would make sense, right? But I want you to take a look at what's going on, and it's clear evidence, with, like, TikTok. Okay? The Chinese version of TikTok is much different than the version that your children get to see. The Chinese version is educational. There's not any kind of smut. There isn't any kind of gender ideology. There is no type of race crap. There's nothing. There's none of that. There's lots of talk about joy and happiness and Totally different. And on the United States version of TikTok, it's nothing but smut and trash. Well, do you think YouTube is on a different mission? Or do you think YouTube's on the same mission to bring down anything related to patriotism in this nation? Anything to do with this nation, essentially? No. We've sat there and watched them for years now directly attack anything to do with freedom of speech, anything to do with the truth. We've watched their underhanded and evil ways. So now all of a sudden I'm supposed to expect that the people that are managing to hit that algorithm, the people that are managing to constantly show up on the side of your page or what have you, I'm expected to believe that the reason they're there is because it's good information, that it's good content, because I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm telling you. You go take a peek around on YouTube. There's a few channels on YouTube, just a few. And there's a whole lot, even like in the preparedness genre. There's tons of channels, most of them really small, and a lot of them really good. Light years ahead of the big names that you think of right now. Light years. They don't have any ego, they don't have any pride, they don't have none of that. None of that. I'm telling you, there's something that turns on in somebody's mind. And not everybody, I'm sure, but everybody I've seen so far. Even Economic Ninja. I don't even watch him anymore. Why? Because he became commercial. He became, fuck that. No interest. The moment he started putting his face on every damn thumbnail and pointing and this and that, and everything's emergency and now and this and... No. See ya. We shouldn't be craving that. That's the initial thing. We should have the self-discipline and the self-control not to crave stuff like that. That's number one. Number two, we have to stop clicking on it. We have to put our mouse where our mouth is. Because it doesn't matter what you feel in your heart. If you click that, it doesn't matter what you feel. You clicked it. They got what they needed. They got what they wanted from you. I know, it's the damnedest thing. Self-control's a bitch, ain't it? Not really. Not for me. I don't understand. I don't understand people. I guess it's their attraction to drama, maybe. I don't know. Can't figure it out. But there are a lot of people that can't resist clicking on, oh, well, I've got to see what he's going to say today. Oh, my goodness, no. It's going to, end of the world again. Are you paying attention to the channels today by chance? Today is just non-stop. It is just non-stop. You better get this. You better get this. You better get this. List of 10 or 20 or 50,000 things you need to get now. Now. It's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Speaking of incredible preparedness channels, I just got replied to by one right now. Average Joe Preparedness. I've talked about his channel before. Average Joe Preparedness. An incredible channel. It really is. The one thing... The one thing that he is very clear about is that he's not like, he doesn't teach the advanced level of prepping. At least that's not the majority of the content that he talks about. He's talking more about the more basic, the more practical levels. And so I don't expect him to be covering wood gasification and, the long-term stuff. That's not his area, But these other people that are, adamant about making money by educating you, preparing you for the end of the world, and none of them have a plan at all to be able to get the equipment going again, namely combustion engines. That's the biggie, right? Without refinery, without those trucks bringing that fuel, without the pipes pumping that fuel, there's no fuel. And it is truly mind-boggling to me that these folks are gaslighting it. I mean, you dig just a little bit and you find out they didn't even prepare at all. All they did is hoard a bunch of shit back. There's a difference between hoarding and preparing to continue on with civilization. Right? Hoarding stops at what you've collected. Continuing on with civilization is going to and finding those things, those important things, to our survival, to our life, to our being able to get by. A lot of those things hinge on technology, no matter how complicated or simple that technology may be. Right? A block and tackle's not complicated technology, setting up pulleys and stuff like that, but it's all technology. And if you don't have the pulleys to do it, well, what are you going to do? You got to know you need to have the pulleys, so you buy the pulleys, so you've got the pulleys, and then know how to use the pulleys when the time arrives. There's a whole lot of stuff. People sometimes they get frustrated with me, and I don't intend this. I don't. Nobody should ever take this personal. But a lot of times I'll get people that want me to watch this, watch that, listen to this, listen to that, and I'm going to tell you, 99% of the time I'm not going to be interested. I'm not interested in TV shows. Not even a little bit. Not even that one show that's so cool. No. Not interested in most music. I can't stand most music anymore. The only music that I care to listen to is music that glorifies the Father. That's it. I mean, it's just, we have choices that we make. And I could choose to spend my time playing video games, watching TV shows, whatever. But I'm not advancing. And that's where my problem is. And it's an issue that I personally have with myself. It's not, if people take a look at their own habits and get upset because I just explained to them that I won't, don't, I'm not interested, maybe some time for some self-reflection. But that's not my choice. That's not my intent. That's not my... But I damn straight ain't gonna keep quiet about how I do and how I feel. Because all this crap that I know because I sacrificed, if you will. It's not a sacrifice, but I sacrificed, if you will. I didn't wrap myself up in TV shows and movies or games or entertainment of any kind. I wrapped myself up in educating myself and learning as many skills as possible, especially skills related to a societal, civilizational, if you will, collapse. I've spent decades on this. To me, being able to help people survive trumps about every damn thing else I could be spending my time on. And in some ways, I'm a very selfish person. In other ways, I'm the least selfish person you'll ever meet in your entire life. And a lot of times, the selfish parts of me, a lot of times, not always, is because I'm trying to do for the many. And many times, the few will want me to overextend. Not many times, but I mean, it happens. But that's, that's the thing. And I know a lot of people, when I talk to them, and it's inevitable. Because everybody watches TV, everybody listens to music. It's kind of one of those inevitable things. But, there's a reason I gave all that up. I see things very, very, very differently than the average person. You know why? Because I haven't spent the last 2 to 3 decades letting a television brainwash the shit out of me. That's why. If you had spent the last 2 decades watching television, I've got bad news for you. You don't see things the same way I do. Nope. And anybody's welcome to try to prove me different. I caught it. 2006, I caught it. I caught it with, I think Big Brother was new at the time. The show Mole, I think it was Anderson Cooper. That was new. It was, Roseanne was starting to really get going good. And that's when I said no. Because I looked at things like Roseanne, and I'm like, no. I know. People are thinking, and what did I say? If you watch TV for the last couple of decades, you won't see it. Okay? Roseanne was one of the worst things that could have ever been aired on the television. That show focused on narcissism and one-upmanship. And that is all it focused on. And then there were show after show after show after show that did the same thing. And then you have all of the reality TV shows to where you got a little bit of a segment doing whatever, and then bam, you got the person sitting in the chair telling you all about how they feel about that little bitty segment. And for the last 25 fucking years, that's all we've seen on television, and that does nothing but breed narcissism. I can't help it. I recognized it. I took the self-responsibility and the self-discipline that I had and said no. I am not going to be apologetic about it. And anytime I get the chance to tell somebody about my non-viewing and listening habits, I damn well will. Why? Remember, I see things differently. And it's awful damn lonely. It really is. Awful damn lonely. You would not believe how much brainwashing has gone on in the last 20 to 25 years in entertainment. Yep. Oh, I'm just now looking up. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, it just got horrible. It got horrible. And hey, do I think Roseanne's funny? Oh, I thought that was hilarious, right? But it's unhealthy. Bottom Plain and simple. It took me a long damn time for me to ever watch a single episode of Walking Dead. I've now seen pretty much every episode. But you see, I didn't let it take control of my life. Except for one moment. There was one moment that it had me by the nary hairs. That was when Negan clobbered old Abraham. And we had to wait until the season continued to find out who he clobbered in the head. Yeah, that was a bunch of bullshit. But aside from that, that was the only time that oh yeah, the kid shows too, and then our tenant's kid, when I lived a few streets over, he was into I think he was a little bit into the anime stuff, but he was also into all the Adult Swim kind of stuff, the adult cartoon stuff, and it's just like, really, some of it is okay. I mean, come on. It's hard to beat Stewie, but that is not a good influence. Again, that is not healthy. Things like The Simpsons, not healthy, you know? We have to understand that just because we can doesn't necessarily mean that we should. And we need to understand that the powers that be will most certainly put obstacles in our way. And they'll feed our bad habits as much as we'll let them. And they've done so for decades now. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, like you're saying, you know, the symbolism everywhere. And then just the disconnect, you know. I watched a video from Trent Palmer. Yeah. He went and flew over where Burning Man was to show the aftermath, what was left. I watched a video today from him doing that, and his girlfriend was with him. And she's sitting there, you know, a lot of the time on her damn phone. And it's like, can you put the fucking thing down for a little bit? I don't get it. I don't get it. I see people drive by all the time, looking down at their phone screen. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Oh, remember that narcissism that I was talking about? Yeah. Yeah. How much vanity does it take to think, well, it's okay if I risk the lives of other people because I'm so important, I have to reply to this. Again, a lot of people might be thinking, you messed up thinking that. And if you do think that about what I said, remember, majority of the people can't see the things I'm talking about because they've taken part in it for so long. It's normalized to them. Let's see. Yeah, and you're right there too. You go up a little backwards. DM Ryan said, basically putting a wall between us and God. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then Walter Davis said, when my kids were little, Teletubbies were off limits. And now we don't have TV for the foster kids, but it's all over their phones. Yeah, Teletubbies was a no-go in my home as well. So, yeah. Nope. I wouldn't allow Teletubbies. And there was others, too, that... It's really insane what is happening. And I sit back and I think about 5 years ago, 8 years ago. One of the things that I used to scream and bitch and moan about so loudly is because, I don't know, a kid would get roughhoused a little too much by, say, a school resource officer or something like that. And I can remember numerous times coming on and talking about it and doing shows and saying, asking, where the hell are the parents? Because they'd have school walkouts and stuff like that, and there were no parents. And here, a child got the hell kicked out of him by an adult, and no parents. Where's the parents? And I used to, I'd ask it all the time, and I'd be confused. And then fast forward to now, and I see the level of indoctrination happening in the public school system. I'm asking myself, where the hell's the parents? Oh, they're there. No, they're not. Are those schools functioning? Are those schools operating? Then them parents aren't involved. You do not send a message by ignoring something. You send a message by shutting it down. This whole ideal of anything we don't like, we just avoid. This cancel culture is the silliest bullshit I've ever seen in my life. It's a bunch of kids throwing tantrums. While nothing changes. Because, well, they've got you throwing tantrums. You're not going to do anything. You're too busy spouting off at the mouth. You ain't going to do nothing. It's crazy. I'm not talking to people that are watching. You guys know what I'm saying. The only way that's going to be fixed is to roll up our sleeves and make it happen. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Okay. NASA. Bring you guys back along. NASA recovers deep space asteroids samples. As long as they weren't in my anus or Uranus, anybody's anus, as long as these are just asteroid, not hemorrhoid samples, asteroid samples. U.S. Space Agency NASA successfully recovered a capsule on Saturday containing the largest asteroid samples ever retrieved following a 7-year voyage through deep space. It can't seem to get you clean water. Isn't that amazing? The capsule, which was carrying a payload of rubble and dust from the near-Earth asteroid Bennu, will help scientists better understand how our solar system was formed and how Earth came to be habitable. How deep is what? The asteroid? I'm lost now. Remind me of what I was talking about and I'll answer your question. Let's see. NASA's webcast of the landing told viewers that the capsule, which had been speeding to Earth at over 27,650 miles an hour, before it safely parachuted to the U.S. military's Utah test and training range, had traveled about 1 billion miles to make it to this point. Speaking after the landing of the capsule, NASA Administrator Bill Nelson said the project demonstrates that the impossible became possible. It brought something extraordinary, he said. The largest asteroid sample ever retrieved on Earth. It's going to help scientists investigate planet formation. It's going to improve our understanding of the asteroids that could possibly impact the Earth. And they tell us that, though, about every single space thing that they do. It's going to improve our understanding of where we came from. You think the moon passed Mars and took its atmosphere and deposited on Earth. Really? That's interesting, Walter. I'm gonna have to toss that up in the cranium for a little while. Most certainly. Most certainly. Anything in particular, Walter, that you would advise me to, any particular direction, any particular type of data that you might point me in that direction? The timelines all match up. Okay. Interesting. I will look into that. I'm going to be honest, there's actually some things I've never really put a whole lot of thought into, and the formation of our solar system is one of them. I never really, and I love that kind of stuff. I really, really love that kind of stuff. I don't know. I just never, you're talking like, oh, you're saying Big Bang Theory? You know, the thing of it is, I think that when people talk about different theories, different ideologies, I think sometimes the impression is that if we have that, as in the science, then that disproves creationism. And that's not the case. I think that we most certainly can both have a Big Bang Theory and creationism. You know? If the Big Bang was part of the creation, what have you. There's a lot of really interesting stuff, though. I will say that. A lot of interesting stuff, folks. The high levels of radiation at the locations of Sodom and Gomorrah is mind-blowing. The background radiation levels are higher. Something clearly happened there. So, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, Walter, and much the same with the changing of the calendar and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I always advise people is never get too wrapped up in any particular thing like that. I used to be wrapped up over God's name, right? Well, that was kind of a spear of my own I could jab into the side of a Christian, right? Because I was atheist for a good part of my life. And, there's all kinds of good tools you can use against Christians because, well, their story doesn't match the book. So, that's kind of a thing. But, that's all for balls. I never had a case of sulfur ball. They've smelled pretty rank before, but not like rotten eggs, and they didn't burn. Well, except for that one time I had to get that cream. Okay, I better get back to news. You think so? And I'm responding to you, Ryan. An enclosed system. Oh, firmament. So you're talking about, when you say enclosed system, you're speaking about the Earth itself, right? Or larger, or what are your thoughts? See, I don't think that. I think we're a big damn place. I really do. I think that a lot of which, a lot of what science says is in a fairly decent direction. I think that they definitely missed the mark on a lot. A lot of interesting stuff. I got some theories too. I got theories about how we've got an atmosphere and stuff as well, which incidentally or coincidentally has to do with that high radiation level at Sodom and Gomorrah. So, lots of interesting stuff. A lot of interesting stuff. Let's see. Yeah, I reckon I could. Oh, wow, it's already 5 after 9. Okay, let me rip through these and get the hell out of here. Starting off with Friday's headline. A TikToker jailed over pork eating video. So, yeah, that's, I'm glad. I'm glad. Because that's a bunch of BS. Really, truly. I'm not for this. Yeah, I do believe people should have not only freedom of religion, they should have also freedom from religion. But that doesn't mean that somebody else should be allowed to directly do something to antagonize that's, freedom of speech doesn't cover walking up to somebody and saying something disgusting to them. Freedom of speech doesn't cover that. And if they haul off and bust you in the face, well, not only you deserved it, but the First Amendment didn't protect you in that. There are some areas where we should have the self-control, the self-discipline, and just general respect not to go. And when it comes to insulting somebody's spiritual belief, that's, in my opinion, one of those areas. I was always disgusted by the people that talked about getting, rounds of ammunition that were dipped in hog fat or whatever. That disgusted me. That's not impressive. That's weak. That's really weak. And, yeah, I'm glad that they got jailed over it. It's bullshit. And that's what it was done over, by the way. It was over belief. It was people trying to insult them because they didn't eat pork. So I don't eat pork. Why? When it comes to the biblical diet, yeah, I don't eat pork. I don't eat shellfish. If the Bible says it's not food, it's not food. But I'm not going to insult somebody that does eat pork. My belief doesn't have to be your belief. But I think out of respect, neither should cross that line. I shouldn't insult you if you do eat pork, nor should I be insulted for not eating pork. I don't know. Used to work for a long time. Iranian MPs approved 10-year sentences for revealing clothes. Russia to become self-sufficient in critical mineral. Western sanctions hurting Russian expat pensioners, says RBK. White House issues Ukraine aid warning. Abrams tanks to arrive in Ukraine next week, says Biden. Ukrainian drones downed over 2 Russian regions. Zelensky warned U.S. lawmakers that Ukraine may lose, says top senator. Russian Black Sea Fleet headquarters hit by rocket attack, says governor. Again, this is Friday's news. U.S. State Department contractor charged with espionage. Russia must become high-wage economy, says Putin. EU chief warns of Russian nuclear threat. Putin reveals benefits of Western sanctions. Poland could give Ukraine outdated weapons, says president. Poland wants U.S. to cool down Ukrainians, says deputy FM. Hundreds of UK tanks could contain hazardous materials, says London. Oil prices rise on Russian restrictions. Top Chinese university scraps English requirements, says media. Russia reveals impact of Ukrainian attack on Black Sea Fleet. Russia reaping benefits of storing gold, says media. China and Syria forge strategic partnership, says leaders. U.S. Senator Menendez charged with corruption. Yeah. Hang on. Somebody beating on the door. Let me in. Let me in, I say. It's cold out here. Let me in. Really cold. Cold. There you go, Bob. Go sit down by the fireplace and warm up. I wonder what this is. Rick Porter. You might want to go see if you can see what that is, because I can't see what that is. Post by Rick Porter. I can't see the post. So. Anywho. Exceptional Russian harvest lowers global wheat prices, says Financial Times. West preparing to dump Zelensky, says Lukashenko. Poland questions price for supporting Ukraine. Baku issues update on slain Russian peacekeepers. Go to the group page. Let's see. Post-Soviet states president controlled from abroad, says opposition leader. Let's see. Drug cartels, fifth largest employers in North American countries, says study. U.S. buying record amount of Russian fertilizers, says official figures. Most tanks provided by Denmark to Ukraine faulty, says media. Yeah, just click use page. But that's Highland Patriots. You click on that right there. Well, it should be the top post. Zelensky pledges to continue counteroffensive into winter. 2 Leopard tanks destroyed in Ukraine, says Russia. EU Commission prepares to open Ukraine membership talks, says Bloomberg. Texas teacher fired over Anne Frank graphic novel. U.S. to supply Ukraine with ATACMS missiles, says media. Russian ambassador visits Brooklyn prison. British missiles used to attack Russian fleet headquarters, says Sky News. Now we are on yesterday's news. Let me have some coffee. Oh, they are cleaning out their scrapyard, you say? Yeah, I'll tell you. Ooh. Oh, crazy. All right. Yesterday's news. Le Pen accused of misusing EU funds. Top EU diplomat warns migration might dissolve bloc. Statistics reveal German house prices collapse. Taiwan warns of abnormal Chinese military activity. Oh, yeah, talking about the fertilizer, the phosphate fertilizer. Oh, yeah. Yep. As far as I know, that's where we got a large majority of our fertilizer. I don't know what I don't know what we're going to do. I really don't. And we're in a position to where one way or another, either farmers agreed or they were strong-armed into using the GMOs and then using the glyphosates and all that other crap. And from my understanding, and I'm not a farmer and I'm not educated on any level in that area, but from my understanding that right now, as the situation stands, it would be very hard to grow any kind of have any kind of yield without having all of their crazy stuff to be able to put on it. Being able to reap a very good harvest without all the special fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, this, that, and the other thing. You know, a lot of that stuff, from what I understand, are systems. And you got to have the entirety of the system or else it just doesn't work. You've got low yield. You've got, you know, this, that, and the other problem. Right. And I've heard that, Fire Marshal Bill, I've heard that a lot about the crows won't touch GMO stuff. And I've actually seen people do experiments with it and stuff. And yeah, I mean, you can put up 2 pieces, you know, 2 cobs of corn, 1 GMO, 1 non-GMO. You just put it up and watch which one the birds eat and which ones they avoid. Oh, wow. That's crazy about the buying and selling fertilizer. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And here's the crazy thing. I see, you know, I'd always been taught that ideally you're supposed to, if you see a need, you fill it. And right now is such an opportunity in one sense for entrepreneurs, but in the other sense it's not, because I don't think, no matter how hard you tried, I don't think this government would allow you to succeed in building, say, a good fertilizer company or what have you, to be able to domestically produce some of these goods. I don't think our own government would allow you. I think they would restrict the hell out of you. They would make it so unprofitable. They would make it so hard to do that you wouldn't do it. They want control over everything. They want to nationalize and, in my opinion, internationalize everything. It's a crazy position we're in. We better be in a position to actually be sustainable. That's why I throw a fit so much about not being able to get that machinery going, because I'm not an idiot. And I know that's just one of the on-the-surface things that we have to do. If we lose the technology of the combustion engine, there is no doubt that millions would die in short order. Just blows my mind that there's technology out there that people within 20 to 30 minutes, not building it, I'm talking about, let's just say that no more fuel, right? If it was already built, ready to go, already been fitted and tested and then taken back off for when it was needed, 20 to 30 minutes you could have that sucker mounted. You could have that engine running and go about your task. Just so mind-blowing to me that the preparedness community don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Mind-blowing. Oh, man. Yeah, I've heard that too. I remember when they were, when they're suing people because some of their stuff would pollinate other people's fields, and so they'd sue them. It was crazy. All right. Let's see. Taiwan warns of abnormal Chinese military activity. Statistics reveal German house prices collapse. I think I read those other ones. Poland sharply increases imports of Russian fertilizer, says media. Lula tells Zelensky no military solution to Ukraine conflict, says CNN Brazil. Russia's trade with EU state hits 8-year low, says media. U.S. corporate failure set to register 13-year highs, says a report. Ukraine spy chief issues warning on U.S.-made tanks. Pardon me. Telling you, it's been a rough night breathing. Yeah, I haven't been doing so hot. That's why I'm increasingly getting more and more frustrated, because my clock's ticking. And there's some things that people need to know about. But I can't seem to break down the wall, so... let's see. Ukraine spy chief issues warning on U.S.-made tanks. U.S. corporate failure set to register 13-year high, says a report. I think I read that one. Ukrainian missile stocks and depleted uranium shells destroyed, says Moscow. Yep, that's the one, DM Ryan, I always, because that's the easy one to come by. I even got it if you go to the watchmannews.com. Right here under the resources tab. And it's going to open up in a different window because, here, let me make it open up in the other tab. Right there. You go to the watchmannews.com and get it, or right from FEMA, or wherever you feel like getting it. It's got to load the pages in. It's not that it's all blank. It's got to load them in. My website is not a very fast one. So, that's for sure. But it's all there. You just got to let it load in. Download a copy of it. But that'd be it. Yup. And I also tell people, I highly recommend this. Highly. So, I'm going to go to my channel. Let me see. No, not home. Hang on. I hate this crap. Yay, there it is. I knew it would pop up. Okay, if you go to playlists, in my playlists, you will see Flash 001 USA Gasifier. Flash 001 USA Gasifier. It's in my playlists. And it will be not my videos. It's Flash 001 USA's videos. And this gasifier here is a much better design. Much better design than the FEMA one. So, the ones that I made are kind of a hybrid. They're largely based on the Flash 001 unit, but they're not, they're not like a carbon copy or nothing. So there was a couple areas I wanted to work on that I think turned out a little bit better than what his did. One of those things you just gotta, it's for a tinkerer. These devices are for people that have the ability to tinker, have the ability to really understand, be able to listen to that engine and understand what that engine needs. You know what I mean? That's the kind of people that's going to be best at operating these. So, but very doable. Let's see. See where I was. Okay, Russell Brand attacks government censorship in video statement. Let's see. EU trade chief rules out China decoupling. Olive oil prices skyrocket. Ukrainian economy grows nearly 20%, says government. Kiev's counteroffensive unlikely to achieve its goals, says U.S. officials. London and Moscow held secret talks, says British media. Britain wanted by Interpol arrested in Moscow, says media. West has been blinded by desire to defeat Russia, says Lavrov. Central African Republic's ex-president receives life sentence. If West wants battlefield resolution to Ukraine conflict, so be it, says Lavrov. The U.S. demands clarity from Poland over Ukrainian military aid, says media. Erdogan likens UN decorations to LGBTQ colors. And we're now to today's news. However, let's see what's up there. Had a headline up there. Nothing too serious. Alright, sip of coffee and a vape. Alright. Now with today's news. Yeah, it's been it's been a slaughterhouse in Ukraine, no doubt about that. Let's see. Today's news: never insult us again, Warsaw warns Zelensky. Washington negotiating F-16 deal with Vietnam, says Reuters. Russian LNG shipments to China surge. Coffee prices in Russia more than double in 7 years, says a study. Let's see. NATO membership for Ukraine not in U.S. interest, says DeSantis. Let's see. Fake euros widely accepted as payment in Kosovo, says Reuters. Canadian Parliament applauds Nazi Waffen-SS veteran. Yeah, that was crazy. Kiev suffering heavy armor losses on Zaporozhye front, says Washington Post. Russia-China trade on track for record in 2023. Ukraine offers Poland grain supply compromise. Let's see. Mexican demon doll arrested, says media. So I'm sure everybody feels much more at ease that the demon doll has been locked away. And that's exactly what happened. The guy had a Chucky doll, and he was terrorizing this little village or whatever with this Chucky doll. I'm not kidding. Apparently he was under the influence of something, but they didn't say what. So they arrested him and the doll, and even made sure to get a nice mugshot of the doll, in which the media was not impressed. Iran serious about restoring nuclear deal. Russian military adapted to Ukrainian battlefield, says Wall Street Journal. Well, yeah, that's what you do. Eurozone facing contraction, says S&P. Let's see. Let's see. Time for Catholic Church to abolish celibacy, says Swiss bishop. Well, I'm pretty sure if you ask the altar boy, you'll find out there's not been much celibacy for a long time. Adidas CEO apologizes for Yee's comments. Western officials pressuring Zelensky to hold elections, says Washington Post. Brussels should buy Ukrainian grain for Africa, says Lavrov. Russian oil major ditching dollar in trade. Trump leading Biden by double digits, says a poll. Conflict in Ukraine to last until 2035, says an ex-Zelensky aide. I don't think so. I believe it's going to go beyond what I said. I was thinking they'd be wrapped up in the fall. Like this fall, like wrapping up about now. And I was clearly wrong. But I don't see it going until 2035. Tensions escalate in Kosovo over deadly attack on police. Oh gosh. Union leaders in Hollywood studios reach a tentative agreement to end the historic screenwriter strike after nearly 5 months. Whatever, homie. Let's see. Western spy ring gave Canada intel for India murder accusations, says the U.S. That's my neck. NASA recovers deep... I covered that one. Austrian NATO cheerleader calls for bombing of Belgrade. 120,000 Armenians may leave Nagorno-Karabakh, says media. Germany rebukes neighbor over migrants. Canadian Parliament Speaker regrets honoring the Nazi SS veteran. You think? And lastly, West is arrogant and hypocritical, says Swiss watch boss. I think he hit the nail on the head pretty good. Anyway, I'm going to hit myself on the head and put myself out until morning. So I'm going to get out of here so I can go smack myself. And God willing, I'll be back tomorrow. You guys can smack around on me then. So anyway, I'm out of here. I hope you all have a good night. I appreciate you coming and hope to see you tomorrow. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.